Start with Michael Grady, Yes Network.
Coach, and how would you describe adjustments, within the game, between games, in a playoff series you're experiencing now as a head coach for the first time? Would you equate it to chess? How would you describe it?
Michael, before I answer the question, I just want to acknowledge, it's been a year since the tragic killing of George Floyd. We as a league, and especially as an organization, are steadfast in our commitment to social justice causes, and the Sy family has been unbelievable in their endeavor to help in this area of our society. So I just wanted to say my condolences to his family, that social justice is a very, very important issue in our country and in our world. It's about education, conversation, and action. And, the more people that are talking about it, that are educating themselves on it, and they're finding a way to get more active, is only going to help us have a better country, better society, better community, and have more love for one another. So I just wanted to take a moment to say that, because it has been, I think, a spark in what's been a positive movement. However, for hundreds of years of negative activity. So I just wanted to not let the moment go without saying something that I thought was really appropriate, and that we have to continue to find hope and breathe hope into our communities through education, communication, and action. Okay, adjustments. It's an interesting, because you can warrant a lot of adjustments at times, and other times you're kind of laying in wait. Especially when you win a game. Sometimes in a sense you're waiting to see what they do. You try to predict and project and get ahead of it, but that's not always, I think, possible. So, we're in that position a little bit to see where we want to improve the way we played. We will make some minor adjustments, but we're not coming into this game leading with a ton of adjustments.
What will a faster start do for you guys tonight?
Yeah, I think it helps. You just look at the course of a game. Some of it is just math. If you have a segment of the game where you're not scoring the ball, it kind of shortens your productivity. So when you're looking at the math, it would help to have a better start. But I think also just for our confidence, our rhythm, our timing, like we've talked a lot about how this is such a new group. Our two main kind of fives have never played together before last game. So that's important for us to try to make the most of these opportunities to grow and get better. So hopefully we can take another step today, whether it's through productivity or whether it's through understanding. You're not going to play well every night, but, can you grow? Can you take something forward with you? And so, having a good start would be great, but also how can we perform? How can we create that understanding and that dynamic between us where it leads us somewhere further at some other point, maybe not linearly, but at some point down the line, we've gained from it.
Bruce Beck, NBC New York.
Steve, Kevin said after game one, I think once your energy's focused on the defensive side of the ball, it will start to turn for you. How much focus is there on defense for you in this ball club?
I think to be a contender, to be a successful playoff team, you have to concentrate on both sides of the ball. You just can't outscore people. As you saw in game one, shooting comes and goes, but you can give the same effort defensively. It doesn't mean you're going to play as well defensively. It doesn't mean you'll have solutions for every answer or problem that's posed to you during the course of a game or a series. But if you have that fight and fire and ability to concentrate and stick to the game plan, you give yourself another way to stay in a game or to get ahead in a game or to win a game. So I think it's really important that you don't ever think that you're just going to outscore people, because it's not just about that game. It's about what are you taking with you? Like I said, what is the resolve you're building? Like, who are you? What do you bring into the table every night? Those things build and grow. It's not just turning on a switch or a faucet. So it's important for us to continue to dig in defensively.
Greg Logan, Newsday.
Steve, this morning, Joe Harris said he didn't feel the supporting cast spaced the floor well enough to create room for the big three, and they kind of brought defenders to them. And he says they're better, when the ball pops a little bit more. And I'm just wondering, did the Celtics do anything to kind of force you into more of an isolation game?
Well, they did switch a lot. They switched a lot of stuff, and we kind of took those switches and tried to isolate. We have isolation players, so I'm happy for us to isolate, but at the same time, I'd like for us to play off one another, to use each other, and for the potential for all 5 guys to be a threat. So, hopefully we can diversify what we do a little bit. We can refine some of the things that maybe we didn't do as well as we'd like. Some of it is just making and missing shots, but some of it we can improve. And so there's plenty of stuff for us to work on. This is such a new experience for all these guys, especially under the lights of the playoffs. So, if we can continue to get better tonight, that would be important, to feel more familiar, to feel more comfort, and to take 1 or 2 little moments that we can say, that's what we're looking for. Let's build on it.
Ian O'Connor, New York Post.
Steve, what has been the most interesting part to you of coaching James Harden? And has he embraced what you've asked of him maybe quicker than you expected?
Well, he's been, such an incredible player for the last, 5, 6, 7 years. So I kind of knew the player we were getting. I didn't know the person. I didn't know, how intelligent he was, how committed he is to winning, to his craft, to coming together and trying to win. So that's been unbelievable. The type of leader he is. He's very willing. I think he when you're as good a player as him, it's not like I'm going to ask him to play a different way, but you want to find a way that his best fits with the other guy's best without diminishing too much of what they do. And so that kind of harmony you're looking for, it takes time, but he's been incredible. He's been open and willing, and I feel like we've been on the same page and lockstep through all this with our philosophy, and it's just going to take time, and we got to keep growing every day.
Barbara Barker, Newsday.
Yes, Steve. Everyone knows what, the ultimate goal is of this team. And I just wondered for you what it's like to be a first-year coach with those kind of expectations.
I don't really think about it. I don't think about the expectations. I think about what's the level we can reach as a group? How can we help facilitate our best effort? What's the process that's going to allow us to improve every day and to win games? So when you get buried in that type of thought process, you don't think so much about the outcome or the expectations. I think they're there. It's impossible not to, feel them and think about it at times, but it doesn't lead the day for me. I don't, lead the day thinking we have to win. I lead the days thinking, how can we get better? How can we facilitate our best effort? How can we bring this group along and make things clearer for them? So that's kind of the approach. And I think that takes up plenty of our time before we get to expectations.
Brian Lewis, New York Post.
Going back to the floor spacing, obviously it's important for all 5 guys to be working in concert and not get in each other's way, and to make sure they're not drawing their guy in the wrong place. But specifically as it regards to Joe, how important is he to that effort and his gravity?
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about Joe. He doesn't need the ball. When he doesn't have the ball, you have to pay strict attention to him because he's such an elite shooter. He's improved as a guy that can attack closeouts and finish at the rim. He makes good decisions with the ball. He passes the ball well, and so I think it's a very treacherous position to not pay close attention to him. So, he does cause gravity and create open space for his teammates. He's a threat, but he's not out there going sideways if he doesn't touch the ball for 4 or 5 trips. So he's a perfect complement for our guys, our star players, but also just our team in general.
Last question, Christian Winfield, New York Daily News.
How's it going, Coach? I think it's something like 94% of teams in NBA history to take a 2-0 series lead in the playoffs end up winning that series. Is there a psychological advantage that you think can be gained from winning this game tonight, knowing that you might have the opponent on the ropes going forward?
I don't know that the Celtics or us are looking at the percentages, those are real and there's validity to them. But, I think we're human beings. So, there's a psychological advantage to be had in every situation if you approach it the right way. If you lose a game, how can that better effort? If you win a game, how can that give you the upper hand psychologically in the team? So, it's more human nature than it is the numbers, because even if you tattooed the numbers, on coach's forehead, it's still, they're still human beings. They're still thinking about what ifs and what's possible, and everyone's different in that way. And then it's the merger of all those collective personalities. So, to go up 2-0 tonight would be a great advantage for us. At the same time, I don't think our guys, I don't think it's even healthy for our guys to be like, oh, great, 94% win. You know what I mean? It's more important for us to be like, well, what's happened to those 6% that didn't win, and how can we prevent that?
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Got it. Thank you, everybody.